Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to walk you through building a complete note-taking application in Android using MVVM Architecture, Room Database, and Kotlin coroutines. We will cover everything from designing the UI to implementing the search functionality and handling the create, update, and delete timestamps. Let's begin. So for this project, I will be using the empty view activity and click next. Give my application some name, my notes, and the package name I will leave as default. The save location, I know where it is. For the language, I will be using Kotlin. For the API version, I will be choosing the 24. So the thing is, like, I will leave the rest as default and click finish. So once your application is built, and go to your build.scripts and open the build.gradle.kts. First of all, we need to add the KPS, for which I will be using id org.jetbrains.kotlin.copt, and the second one we need to add the KSP, which is com.google.devtools.ksp, and need to define some version for it. So version for me, which works fine, is 2.0.1.0.21. Okay, so the next things we need to add ID for our parcelizing. I will use the Kotlin parcelize, and then we need to sync our project to see if everything is good. We don't face any issue. So for me, I will change the compile SDK and target SDK to 36, and then I will add the build feature for my application. Since I don't want to use the find view by ID, so I will be using just the binding. Sorry, not try, it should be true. And then we comes to the dependency block, and we will add our dependency. To save our time, we can just quickly copy paste our dependency. So the first two dependencies are actually belongs to our ViewModel and the LiveData. The second three dependencies are actually belongs to our Room Database, which is actually the building blocks of this application. The third two dependencies, one is for the recycler view and the other one is for the material design, and the final one is for the coroutine. Let's sync our project. Okay, our project is built. Let's go open the app folder and go to the Kotlin plus Java and our package name. And here now we need to start with our MVVM model. So let's create the directory structure first. So first I need the data. The second one I need for repository. Third, we need it for the view model. And fourth, we need it for the UI. Okay, so these are the dependencies we need. Let's go to the data and create one data class for our application. So this one, we name it note. So in this data class, what parameters do we need, or what variables we need, or what data types we need? So here you can see I need the primary. Okay, so we need an ID with the primary key auto-generated. We need a title, and we need the content. Okay, so initially you need to annotate this table with entity and give it some name, notes. So these notes will be actually your table name. Since I want this table to be parcelized, because I need to parse this table from one activity to another activity, so I will annotate it with parcelize. I will choose a Kotlin parcelize, and you need to give super parcelize superset here, parsable actually, for syllable. Yeah. Okay, and we need one more. This should be vol created 8 and we say long system. Okay, and then another one we need as a wall updated 8, and this will be the same long with the system current time millisecond. Okay, so this is our model, and now let's go and create our DAO class. So for the DAO we will be choosing an interface, and this will be our node DAO. Here you need to annotate it with the DAO. Here inside you will define some queries. So the first queries I will say insert. So on conflict if the data is already there, I say replace it, and this will be assessment function where we will take the model as a node and we will insert to our database. The second one is to update, and this update is just simple suspend function, and we just name it update, and the update will be having the same parameters as the insert. And the third one is delete. The delete will have the same things as per our insert, update, and delete. So the same parameters we need to pass. The other one is to get all the parameters. So for that one we choose query, and we say, sorry, query need to be imported, and then here we say select static from nodes order by updated date, and since we want to sort our data based on the updated date, so we will say based on the update date and desynchronous. Okay, so we say fun get all nodes. This will be our method name, and we return our data as LiveData, and the LiveData should be a list of node. Now we need to do something for the search. So for the search, what we need to do is it's supposed to be query, and the query should have the same thing, select static from nodes. Now where title, here we need to use the like clause, and then we say, sorry, this should be small letter, query or content like, and this should be query order by updated desynchronous. Okay, now what we are doing here, we are selecting everything from nodes where the title, if the title is like query or the content is like query. So this like is actually the like clause. It's, you can say wildcard, so that can define that actually will look inside the table, and where the title is something matching with the query or the content is matching with the query, it will choose all the data. And since we put the static, so it will choose all those data and pass us is fun search nodes, and we just pass a query, and we will pass, and it will return us as a LiveData list node. Okay, this is our search. Now this third thing we need here is a class for the node database, and this node database is actually we will be using to make the instance of our database. Okay, so this one is not entity. Let's name it as a, first of all, this should be an abstract class, and now this should be a database, and this database should have entities, and this entity is actually, for now we have only one entity, that's our node class, and the version we define as a 1, since this is just our first database and we didn't make any changes, so we just make it version 1. Export schema will be false. Now let's go to now let's move to our body. Here need to extend this one with the room database. Let's create an abstract class for the DAO to access the DAO class, the DAO interface, and then we will create a companion object and make sure the instance is always up to date for across the threads. So for that we will be using volatile, and this should be, we create our instance, initiate our instance, and now we will be creating a singleton pattern to ensure only one database instance should be written. For that one we say create get database this is context until context is fine. Okay, now what we need to return here, sorry, the context need to be import. Okay, so now what you need to return here, you need to return here the same instance you created, but that instance, what that instance supposed to do is synchronized. Yes, that's synchronized. Synchronized means it's always up to date with the thread. And then inside there we say we create one instance and is equal to room dot database builder. Okay, let's import the room dot database builder. Inside the database builder we pass these parameters and build. We say context application is context, no database, we pass, and then we give a name to our database, and below there we say instance is equal to instance and then this instance. Okay, so we will get our database based on our instance we just created. Okay, all right, so nothing more on the data part. Let's go to the repository. So the repository will be a class, and this class should be this should be a class, so we name it the node repository. In here we need to define a constructor, and in this constructor we need to pass private vol. We need to pass the DAO interface here. So we say node DAO and then pass the node DAO here as parameter to our repository. So now in our repository we have access to our node DAO. So the first thing we need to call our get all, let's say all nodes, and this should be LiveData of list of node, and coming from node dot get all nodes. Okay, so we have all our nodes here which is coming from our DAO interface. The second one is we will say insert with suspend function, and we just pass the node as a parameter to our DAO and to insert into the database. And the other one is the update one. We passing the same parameters to the DAO from our using our update method inside our repository. Okay, and the fourth one is delete, and the search node is just search nodes. So what's the search nodes? We need to modify the query a little bit. So here, since we are passing a query, and this query, let's say clause, we need to define one % mark and second % mark. Okay, I will define to you, I'll explain to you why I put the question mark here, and I mean the % mark here and the % mark here. Imagine I put the % mark in the starting and then say query. This means whatever is in front of the query, you ignore that one, but any object that's carrying at the end of the title or the content, keep all of them. I mean, select all of them. But if I put the percentage at the end, it means whatever starting from the query, like whatever I put in the search, whatever is starting with that query, with that search query, select all of them no matter what is at the end. But if you put the percentage mark in the starting and at the end, it means select whatever that's contained this query, no matter what's in the start or what's at the end. So this will be a good approach to use in our search. So actually this one is called the wildcard in our database. Okay. And need to close this one. Okay, our repository is already done. Now we need to move to our view model. Let's create one class and we say node view model. Node view model will also contain one constructor. In that constructor we need to pass a repository. If you don't want to use this kind of like passing the repositories to the view model in this thing, then you definitely need dependency injection. So we are not here today for the dependency injection, so we just go with the flow. And this one is not a public class. Okay, we shouldn't create a Java class, sorry. Create again Kotlin class and we say node view model, and now in the constructor we say private and then say repository, node repository, and this is what it will return. Okay, import the view model, import the repository, and then this one private wall. And now let's go to we get all our nodes from the repository. Okay, but this all nodes supposed to be a live data. Okay, like this. All right, so all our nodes, and then insert our nodes should be function, and we say just say insert, and then we just take node as parameter, and then we pass this to our view model, to our repository. But since we want to use the coroutine, so we will be using view model scope dot launch and say repository dot insert and pass the node here. Okay, this is our insert. Let's go to update. Update will be the same, delete will be also the same, and let's go for the search and how the search should react. Okay, for the search we need to do something like, first of all we say if query dot is empty, then just return the repository. We already got all nodes, so we don't need to call the repository again, and then else repository dot search node and pass the query here. Cool. Okay, this is our search. All right, to access to our view model, either we directly access or we create the view model factory class. So I will create the view model factory class. So in this factory class, what we need to do, we need to actually create the instance of our view model to access it from the main app or the any screen we want to access it from. Okay, so first let's say override here, this super create we just remove and say if model class dot is assigned from node view model class dot java, then we say return the view model as a repository, otherwise throw the illegal exception, unknown view model. Okay, so now we can access our view model from the node view model factory. Okay, this is also done. Now we need two classes. First one is the main activity. I put it here. I will close all of these first. Let's design our home screen first. Okay, so to save our time, let's copy paste the XML layout. Okay, so our XML layout is here. So first we have a toolbar, and toolbar is just the name of the app, and then we have a input text layout where we have the search bar. Below the search bar we have a floating action button to add and remove, to add new note, and then we have a recycler view below that, and then we have a TVMT layout. Okay, this is our main activity, and now I want to add one more activity, which should be empty view activity, and here I say maybe node edit, or maybe node editor. I just name it. Okay, I noticed something. Okay, all right, good. So we have our node editor is already created. Okay, for this one also I will just copy paste my layout. Here we have our toolbar, and then below the title edit text, and we have the content edit text, and then we have one menu node editor, so which we need to create here. Go to the res folder and say new, and go to resource file, and then here you just choose a menu and give the menu some name, which in our case is menu node editor. Okay, so now we go to the menu, copy paste. So we have two buttons, one is save, one is the delete. We need this, and now you already see this error is gone. Okay, one more layout we need here is actually the item for our recycler view, and that one should be item node, and this one should look like this: title, and then content, and then the date, and it's all will be inside one card, and then inside the linear layout with orientation vertical. Okay, so first of all, let's close all these and go to our main.activity. Remove this and remove this. Go to private late init var and say binding activity binding, and then say binding as equal to activity main binding layout inflator. Okay, now binding dot root. Okay, so now we are accessing this activity in our binding, in the view binding. So now we can just access anything using the view binding. Okay, let's create some more parameters here. The first thing we need to say private vol adapter, node adapters. So for that node adapter you need to, okay, we didn't create adapter yet. Let's create one package here and say adapter, and then inside the adapter we create one class and we say node adapter. Okay, so what node adapter should do is actually take some parameter as private vol on click, and this on click should have node and this one will be passing as a callback function. And then we have a list, not like this. Okay, let's remove this. Auto generated code is making a problem. So we say recycler view dot adapter, and then this adapter should have a node adapter dot view holder. Okay, so we don't have this new node view holder. We can just create now. First of all, let's say we call it inner node view holder, and then this one should have a binding and binding. Okay, and what should it return is recycler view dot view holder, and this view holder should have a binding dot root. Okay, we will define the binding later on, so for now we just create this one. Okay, and here we need to implement all the members. Okay, first of all we create view holder. So let's say what we need to do with the create view holder. So it should be wall binding is equal to item node binding. This item node binding is actually this one, don't be confused, item node. So it's just we are getting is as a binding inflate, and then here you should say layout inflator dot from parent dot context and say parent and false. Okay, we got the binding, and then we should return the binding as a node view holder and binding. So what we are doing, we are actually passing this binding to here where it's required the binding, and then we are returning to our view holder the entire root. So this is what we are doing on create view. Let's move to our okay, first let's do something else. We say private wall nodes, or we say node list, and this should be array list of node. Okay. All good. Let's go to our own binding view. On binding view, you need to grab one node from node list position. So at a time one node, and then we need to say holder dot binding dot apply. Okay, TV title, pass the node dot title, content, pass the node dot content. For the date we need to modify a little bit. Let's say we say update it on simple date format. And let's okay, get default. Okay, this is how we update. This is our date format, local, and this is we are passing our updated date. Okay, and here count is equal to node list dot size. Okay, one more thing we need here to for the set node, that one we do later, or you can do it now also. Function set node and list of node, and then we say node list dot clear. Okay, this all in when we are adding the nodes. Okay, our adapter is edit. Now here in our adapter we just say simple adapter, and then this adapter is equal to node adapter, and this node adapter is actually returning a node. So this node you can pass when you click the intent. We can pass to our editor class, and this one, since we already parcelize it, we can just say put extra a node and pass the node and start activity. Okay, this one, the adapter is not let init, we already initialized. So other thing is private let init var, and this time we need to say view model, not view model. Okay, we exist in view model here. Let's come to our on create. So on create, what we need to do here is first of all set up our view model. Second, set up recycler view. Third is we need to observe nodes, and fourth we need to set up search. Let's say set up search. Okay, and we say binding dot add node dot set on click listener, and here we say start activity. Node editor. So when we click on the add button, so we will go to the node editor. Okay, let's go out of our on create, and here let's find set up our view model. We create the function, and then we create another function, cycler view, create another function, observe, create another function. Okay, first let's bring this to the top. Set up view model. What do we need here? We need a dov as equal to node. Actually, this is just, we need a database node database dot get database, and we need to pass the dot node dov. We exist directly node dov from database. And the second thing, we need a repo, and this repo should have a node repository, and we need to pass a dov here, and then we need to call the factory, and this factory should have a node view model factory, and we need to pass repo here. Now to view model, which we initialize on the top, now we need to say view model provider. This should be view model provider, and the factory, okay, this one view model provider, and this should be factory, and then return is node view model is class.java. Okay, so we initialize, set up our view model. Now we need to set up our recycler view, so let's bring the recycler view up. Second recycler view. So in the recycler view, we say binding.rv nodes adapter, we pass the adapter, but first we need to say binding.rv nodes dot layout manager, and we say linear layout manager. Okay, now what we need to do is to observe the nodes. Let's bring this up here. We say view model dot all nodes dot observe Now we just need to pass one context here, and then this one should be nodes. And what do we want to do with the nodes? We say set nodes here. We adapter set nodes. We create this function in our adapter, so we are passing our nodes to the adapter. Okay, now let's go to the search part. In the search, we say binding dot et search dot add on text change on add text change listener, and in here we just say grab the text from the text change listener, and then we say ViewModel dot search nodes, and we say text dot to string, and we just say observe this, and this observe should have adapter dot set node dot it. I guess we need to import Android X, and then core, and from the core I think widget and a text listener. We need this thing. Yeah, now okay, no issue. Hey, let's run our application before moving to our editor page. We will quickly run our application to see if it's running fine or not. Okay, we might have issue here. Let's run again. I already deleted the code. Okay, no issue. When you click, you can go to, okay, all right, let's go to setup view model. We copy from here and go to the here, and then let's create like private, can take from here, copy and paste here, and here instead of binding main activity, we say activity node editor binding, and here same binding is equal to activity node editor binding dot inflate layout inflator, and here we just pass as binding dot root. Okay, and here we say set up our view model. Anything else? All right, set up view model, and here we need to set up our toolbar also. We just say, first of all, we set up our toolbar, and here we just create one function, set up our toolbar, and then this toolbar should have set support action bar, and we say binding dot toolbar, and then we have support action bar and support action bar dot set display options. Display home is up enable true, and support action bar, and then we say display show set display show home title home just home enable true. Okay, our toolbar. Let's say we need to define one more thing here. That's okay, to access to our let's say to grab our private var, current node. What is this current node? This one is coming from our main activity. This node should be now, and this one import. Below here we say current node is equal to intent dot get parsable extra, and this should be node. Let's say if current node is not equal to now, then just say binding dot et title dot set text is equal to current node dot title. Yes, and then binding dot et content dot set text current node dot content. Okay, all right, now we need to access to our menu. Let's say we want override function on create option menu. Okay, this is option menu, and this is boolean, and what we have in option menu inflate. This is our or.menu editor as a menu, and then what we need to do is to menu dot find item, and this should be r dot id dot action delete dot is visible if current node is not equal to null. So the visibilities depend on our current node. This return true on create options menu. Okay, on create options menu, all good. Menu is menu. Okay, this menu shouldn't have the, okay, this is our menu. Now we need to create another override method, and this override method should be like on option item selected, on options item selected. Okay, what we need to return? We need to return something if the item, okay, let's say when the item dot item id android id dot home do nothing, android id action save nodes and delete node, else options do nothing. Okay, so we need these two methods, create function and delete create function. So first of all, let's go to the save. What we have to do in the save is take the two parameters wall title from the binding dot et title dot text dot to string, and then we wall content, and also take from binding dot et content dot text dot to string. After that we say if title dot is empty, we say binding dot et title dot error is equal to title is required, return. Okay, if not, then we just say if content is empty, the content content is required. Otherwise we say if current node is equal to null. If there is nothing in current node, it means we are not updating anything. Then we just say vol node is equal to node, and then we say title is equal to title, and content is equal to content. So we have node, and then we are passing this node to ViewModel dot insert node. Okay, else if current node is not null, then we are actually updating the current node by using the copy keyword. It's actually called the ViewModel scope. Yeah, you can say functional scope, or it's kind of some kind of scope. So this one is we are using the scope to update our title with the new title and content with the new content, and passing to the ViewModel to update it. Okay, once this, then we just say finish. And in delete, oh sorry, this one's supposed to be in save. For the delete one, we just say if current node is not equal to null, only perform the delete. Then ViewModel delete the content and finish. Okay, this one, and then just finishes outside. Alright, seems like everything is completed. We just need to run our application to test everything works fine. Okay, let's add some node. We go put some title, testing node. This is my first testing node. Click save, and our node is here. We create another one. Ozil was here. This content is created by Ozil, and here, and we say KD tags, please subscribe my channel. Okay, and if you want to perform the search, I say KD tags is KD tags. If I say was, if anything, you say subscribe. And if you want to say testing, or you can search and you can update, you can delete. Now you click on the item. Okay, the click was not working, so let's add the click also. We say root.set on click listener, and we pass this one. Okay, let's refresh. Click on our node, and we can just say updated, save. You'll see here updated, not new. Let's say testing node. The node I remove. Say update, see testing, and if I want to delete some, you can just delete. Okay, it works fine. Alright, thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will be uploading more videos and making more small application. And actually I'm planning to upload one of the image processing application. So be with me, and please don't miss those videos, and please subscribe, and thank you for watching. Thank you.